I'm going to sum up all my videos that I've made with this possibly be my last one. I don't know, I might make some more, but this will be the sum of all things right here. As a matter of fact, it's going to come from Daniel chapter 7 itself. And Daniel chapter 7 verse 1, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. That's the interesting part. That's what I want to talk about today. We're going to talk about the sum of the matters. And the sum of the matters are going to be history from beginning to end, including this right here. The sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. Obviously, before the first kingdom starts, the creation has to happen and the earth has to be created. It's interesting, one of the first things that's mentioned here, when he's talking about the sum of the matters, from creation to the end, that's the ultimate sum of the matters. One of the first things he says is, the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. In Genesis, we read chapter 1, verse 2, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. We're going to find a very short list of all the things that happened from creation until the end. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. The first beast, the first kingdom, was like a lion, and it had eagle's wings. We learned before it was also olive. Adam and Eve, when they were created, could be typified by this very phrase right here, because what happens next is interesting. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. Can you imagine mankind when he was created? Having the strength of a lion and the speed of an eagle in the air. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made to stand on his feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. When Adam and Eve sinned, then they got their wings plucked, and made to stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Even man's heart was changed at that moment. The day they ate of the tree, they died. Behold, another beast, a second like unto a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. This would have been the Jewish kingdom. And I know all you that like to do word searches, you're going to take these words and you're going to go try to search all the different places you see the word bear, and you're going to come up with all kinds of different stories. Some people claim this is Russia. Political kingdoms again. They fall into that trap of the politicizing the Word of God. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given unto it. Dominion was given unto the Christian church age. It had 4 wings of a fowl. It was able to fly into the whole earth, spread the gospel. After this I saw in the night vision, behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue. The residue were the believers with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts from that which were before it, and it had 10 horns. The 10 horns are the 10 virgins. I consider the horns that are behold, there came up among them another little horn. So the little horn comes up from among them. The little horn comes up from among them. It doesn't come up from here. It doesn't come up from here. It doesn't come up from the European Union. It comes up from among them. The 10 horns. Before whom the first 3 of the horns plucked up by the roots, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancients of days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as a burning fire. And a fire stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, and judgment was set, and the books were opened. It happened over here. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. This little horn had great words. I beheld till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. Concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. One thing we can say for sure is none of these other kingdoms have any dominion anymore. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near unto him. And there was given unto him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and tongues should serve him, and his dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that shall not be destroyed. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit, in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. Yeah, this was a troubling vision. This vision has been troubling Christendom, religious-dom, whatever you want to call it, since the beginning of, since man could first start reading these words right here. I came unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings that shall arise out of the earth. And remember, the earth had to be created, and then they will arise out of the earth. 4 kings. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever. Then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. He does his stamping over here. And notice it says that, which was diverse from all the others. Was this kingdom different than this one, and this one, and this one? Yes. And that can be said about every one of these kingdoms. There's not one of these kingdoms that was the same as any of the others. Every single kingdom, every time there was a kingdom change, it became completely different than the one previous to it. And of the 10 horns which were in his head, and of the other which came up, the little horn, of before whom 3 fell, even of that horn had great eyes and a mouth that spake great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. That was the first part of the trib. He made war with the saints. In the context of all of this, the saints are the 5 wise virgins that are within this kingdom. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, 5 wise, 5 foolish. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came. Second half, Ancient of Days came. Christ came as lightning. And the time came that the saints The Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. Now, this is an interesting piece of tidbit of information right here. Judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. Who were the saints over here? The 5 wise virgins. So who was judgment given to? The 5 wise virgins. They were given the judgment. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. The time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth and tread it down and break it in pieces. It's the 4th kingdom. If there's a 4th kingdom, there's a 3rd, there's a 2nd, there's a 1st. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings which shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand. They were given into his hand until the times, and the dividing of a time. Times, and the dividing of a time. Everybody thinks of that as 3.5. I'm not going to get into timing stuff here, but judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. Lots of important things were said in that chapter, and I think one of the most important ones, which I just noticed the other day, was Daniel said he was going to give the sum of the matter. We can read in Revelation 13 about these kingdoms, even summarized even more. They're listed all in one verse. But anyways, the crux of the story here is we just saw the sum of all of creation from beginning to end, the sum of the matter. And we saw how each one of these kingdoms is diverse all the way through. None of them would ever be the same. We saw the 4th kingdom. We keep seeing over and over how the 4th kingdom is dreadful. It's bramble. It's about the 10 virgins. Then shall the kingdom of heaven. Which kingdom? There's one. Well, if there's a 4th kingdom and it's got 10 horns, or it's got 10 toes, or it's got 10 kings, Matthew calls them 10 virgins. Which one do you fit it in? So anyways, I find it very interesting that once you get past when God says, when he destroys these kingdoms and he sets this one up, hitherto is the end of the matter. There is no 6th kingdom. There is no 7th kingdom. There's only 5. And so it should give you an indication of how close we are right now. 2014 might be a very interesting year. I don't know. This could go on for another 100 years. But all I know is that the 5 wise virgins were told when they see these things and they move into this, then shall they understand the 4th kingdom. And without understanding the 4th kingdom, none of this other stuff could be understood. Remember, Daniel says, I don't know how many times the words were closed up and sealed until the time of the end. So there's no way they could understand it. It wasn't God's purpose for this information to be understood until the right time. Why do we think the tribulation period was going to be good? The crux of when the little horn rose up here, and he was going to crush and destroy the whole earth. You know, that's just more language of this is not a good spot to be. This was not a good spot, not even for the 5 wise while they were in here. But God's mercy pulled him out because he was going to have a people for himself. All through history, he's had people for himself. And it's always been a very few people. In the days of Noah, look how many people all through the history from the time of creation till Noah were actually believers. And then once he was going to destroy this, how many people were left? 8. When we come over to this kingdom here, it was builded up. How many people came out of this kingdom to go into this kingdom? Not very many. The same here. When the 5 wise and 5 foolish that came over here, the 5 wise were so few that a child could write them. Elijah, when he cried over here that, Lord, they torn down their altars and killed their prophets and I'm left alone, and the Lord says, no, don't worry, I've left to myself 7,000 men that have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. And even so at this present time there was a remnant according to the election of grace. There's always been a remnant. The residue that got stamped on here was the remnant that was not. There are no saints in here. There's no language in the tribulation period of the 4th kingdom. All in the 4th kingdom, that's where the saints were. The 5 wise virgins were here. They were not here. So, anyways, this is probably going to be not one of my last videos. So, that's it for now. Thank you.